Hello, thank you for watching this video. This video all about general interview questions regarding cybersecurity GRC. Please endeavor to watch this video to the end because there's a lot of informative um statements that will help you pass any interview. Remember, um we have part one of this video on our channel. If you have not watched that, that one talks about the full GRC job description that will delve into all part of GRC, reviewing a full job description that will help you, or that can fit into any interview you will have. Make sure you get that video on our channel and watch it. So ideally, um, in every interview, whether cybersecurity or GRC, remember it's always a mix of both um, cybersecurity related questions and general questions. So people always concentrate on just cybersecurity aspect and prepare their interviews just to, in preparation for only cyber related questions. Or you forget that about 30% or sometimes 40% of those questions are non-cyber related. So you'll be looking at a mix of them in this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and also try to watch this video to the end. So we first of all, normally normal question in most interviews, not every interview, is tell me about yourself, your experience. That is usually the normal question after the interviewer must have introduced themselves and the company to you. And then it's now your turn. So the question is, how do you start? So first of all, let us look at, there's always an initial interview. Most interviews, most interviewers will always want to go through a screening process. The first screen, shortlist candidate for the main interview, or they can go directly to the main interview, so where there have many applicants. Now, if it's an initial screening interview, it might not be very detailed like the main interview. But one thing you should be mindful of is who the interviewer is. Because in most cases, it is the HR team that that do the initial screening. And then they are the one that will shortlist you for the main interview. Even when they don't have cybersecurity experience, they will still be the one that will shortlist you. So I don't know why it happened that way, but then companies differ. Then also it could also be the prospective line manager or a member of the cybersecurity team that will be interviewing you. So you have to be mindful of who. You need to know from the email they will send to you for the interview. Definitely, it will be it will include the name of who will be interviewing you, if it's the HR person or so. First of all, how would the HR person be able to do shortlist you when he or she does not even have knowledge of cybersecurity? So what happens is that the HR person is given a script, and is going to be ticking the boxes as the conversation progresses. So you have to, like I said, be mindful of who is interviewing you so that you know how to respond. The HR person is ticking the boxes. They've given him some some points like a script in the area of okay, does he speak well? In the area of experience, relevant, not just experience, relevant experience. In area of skills, relevant skills, and then relevant certification. And then if other HR related questions like visa, criminal record, holiday, and all that. I'm not going to go into all those ones. So now, as you are speaking to the HR person who is going to shortlist you, he or she is taking the boxes. Does he have this? Does he have this? Does he have this? So that is very important. So if the line manager that is interviewing you, yeah, most cases is going to interview you also based on technical skills. So you have to be mindful so that you will know how to respond. And then one of the things they will be asking you is testing you in tell me about yourself, is your spoken English, your spoken English, you know, and your confidence level, eye contact, your cohesiveness. Then coming to your spoken English, they want to see how well you can communicate. Not just communicate, but communicate effectively, how you can drive home your point. So if you're a fast talker, please endeavor to talk as slow as you can, and talk, make your statements clear, and then also you must be confident. This is one of the greatest challenges, you know, in interviews. You must display some confidence. There's no point being nervous because most people fail interview due to nervousness. You prepare very well, you know what to say, you are happy with yourself before the interview. Immediately you sit in front of the panel or on screen, you tend to be nervous. Why? Interview is just a discussion. Just see it as a discussion with friends. If you are discussing with friends, will you be nervous? Most time you are even having an interview with somebody who is even far much more younger than you, and you are shaking before a teenager or even a young adult. You know, who you are enough to mentor. You are old enough to mentor the person, and you are not shaking before the person. It is needless. It's not a do or die affair. The worst that can happen is that you don't get that job and you get another one. So don't be the reason why you fail. Don't be your own problem by being nervous. You have to be confident. It's just discussion. There's nothing about what that is it. So just develop that confidence, and then make sure you have eye contact. Eye contact. Look at the people eyeball to eyeball. You turn, if there are one or two people, make sure you turn your face around slowly to look at each of them as you speak. Don't focus on one person. Even most time we are tempted to live in responding to question, we are tempted to live focus on the person that's asked the question. Make sure as you focus on the person, slowly turn your face or your eye to also look at the person, other persons in the panel. Don't focus on one. Then don't try to look away from your camera, like turning aside, because they are watching you. They are watching your gestures. You know, you are looking away from your camera to look at it. Maybe you are distracted or something. You're looking up or looking down. No, focus on the camera. So make eye contact throughout the interview, because if you are looking elsewhere, you look as if you are looking for solution, you don't know so, or you can't even, you are shy. No, no, no. If you are a shy person, make sure you use mirror to talk to yourself, interview yourself, talking to yourself. If you're a shy person, you cannot be shy because that will be a challenge. And then you have to be cohesive. You have to be cohesive. Put your points together, articulate your points. Don't talk too much. Just go straight to the point. Don't try to overdo things because the more you say things, the more they bring out question from the thing you say. So straight to the point, because sometimes people talk too much in interview. You start very well, give good reasons, and then you now come back and try what you have spoken. So just be cohesive and, straight to the point. You don't have luxury of time. So we are going to come back to this, but let's move on. And um, then your knowledge of the company and the role will be tested. Make sure you know what the company does. Make sure you know what the company does. It doesn't have to be he give history or in 1945 or in 1950s or you were this or that. Fine. You can get latest information about the company, maybe acquisition or merger, but then the basic thing they want to know is what their main service, probably cybersecurity consulting and software development. That is all you need to say. I know the company, and then yeah, so just one sentence is enough. So you should have also, because they might also ask you what is you know, what do you know about the role? They've asked me several times. If you are interviewing, all you need is to prepare without even, having a mental knowledge of key, the key responsibilities of the job you are being interviewed for. Because they will ask you, sometimes they do, what do you know about the role? They don't expect you to say everything on the advert, the job advert, but you should take some key notes. What the job require? What are your responsibilities? Take some key notes. Make a mental note of some of them. They should mention key ones. It's very important. And then the so why I say you should have a mental knowledge of the role is that the HR person who is going to be interviewing here, like I said before, does not know anything about cybersecurity. So in the job description section, there are two sections normally in every job description. There are responsibilities and there are key required skills need to know or need to have. So after listing your job responsibility, you're going to be writing policy, and then the desirable qualities. So there are two sections. You have ability to ability to manage stakeholders, ability to manage risk, and ability to manage threat. No, so if you're able to, because these are the things you are going to be using in your first intro. If you want to scale the first, you want to scale the first screening. So if you want to progress to the next interview, especially if you are being interviewed by the HR person is going to be looking at the job description as you are giving him your experience. Make sure you say things that are on the job description, because if you don't, you may not progress, no matter how brilliant or how prepared or experienced you are, because you can, if you give all your experience, all your history of job without mentioning those things that are on the job description, that is what the HR is going to teach. For example, if the job description requires that you to manage risk, to write policies, you conduct internal auditing, you manage external auditors, and then so those are the things you should be mentioning. In other words, I've managed, because you are mentioning what the HR want to hear. If you don't mention what the HR person wants to hear, you will not progress, because that is what he doesn't know. All he's doing is that you are saying what is written down on the job description. That is what is taken. It's going to mark your experience and competence area. So that is what the HR is going to use to score you, give you the maximum point on that particular area. So, and then if it have to do with the required or the desired skill set or the desired qualities or whatever, that session also, you say, I have the ability to manage stakeholders, I have the ability to, I'm a team player, I have the ability to solve problems, especially if they listed those ones as the desirable quality. So to be able to mention the responsibility and some of the key desirable qualities on the job description when you are dealing with the HR person, or whether the HR or the line manager. So these are some of the things they are going to be checking and see, oh, that means this person can do what we want the successful person to do. You should be mindful of that. Rather than focusing on your CV, focus on the job description when you are having initial screening, because that is what will progress you to the next stage. Have a mental knowledge of the job, some of the key deliverables on the job, the key deliverables and the key uh, attribute or required skill. And then, yeah, so that is very important. So, like I said, knowledge of the job, we talked about these ones. And so another important thing is that before any interview, please make sure you master your CV. Master your CV. Make sure that everything, check your CV item by item, line by line. Make sure that everything you got on your CV, you can talk to them. You are able to, because they can take you on. Oh, in your CV, you said you do this. Can you just tell me a little about how you did that? And if you have something on your CV that you cannot defend, then it's a shame. So what you do, anything you cannot defend on your CV, either you read more about everything on your CV or you retake it off. That is very important, because if I ask you a question, you have this on your CV and you cannot defend it, I'm going to fail you right away. So that is also very, very important. So let's look at the next question. What will you be doing in your first few days or first few weeks? As a cybersecurity person, they want somebody that is going to come to hit the ground running. We all know that in first few days and the first few weeks, you do induction and all that. But then you're not going to say the first few days is for induction. They want to see how you can hit the ground running, how you can make immediate impact, and first of all, what are you going to say? So my first few days or first few weeks, I'm going to try to meet the key stakeholders I'm going to be working with. Um, I'm going to jump on a call if I, introduce the key stakeholders to me, and I'm going to join and make a list of them. I'm going to schedule meeting, a call with each of them to understand, their work pattern, to understand how the areas of collaboration, understand how my work will affect their work and how their work will affect mine, and then I also want to know the challenges they've got regarding my role, and then what they expect of me and what I expect of them, how we can collaborate together, to move the company forward. And so that is very important, meeting the stakeholders that you're going to be working with and see the requirements, what is expected of you. That is important. So, and then you also know what challenges they had in the past regarding your role and what do they want you to do differently. And then also you will also, okay, I will have a read of your policies, a request for your policy repository where you store all your policies. I'm going to read through them, understand the policy you have, and then the ones you don't have, and see the ones that need to be developed, and then see whether the policy need to be reviewed and when they should be reviewed. And then or if you are implementing ISO 27001, I am going to go through your statement of applicability to also familiarize myself with the statement of applicability, that is the SOA, and then know the controls you are applying and the ones you are not applying. And then I also read through your procedures, your procedure documented, because for every policy there's a procedure. So I also read through your procedures and to get myself, acquainted with this, to know if there's areas of improvement, and I can come up with areas of improvement. And then the first few weeks or so, I'm going to review your annual compliance requirement. What are the things you comply with regarding cybersecurity? What would be my involvement in your annual compliance? For example, if you have regulators that are complying with them, you are renewing your standard. If you are certified against ISO 27001 or PCI DSS, definitely you're going to be, maintaining them and complying with them, renewing them yearly. So these are some of your compliance requirements. So I need to have a full grasp of, your compliance schedule. When is the renewal due for the standard? When are you expected to renew your operating license with your regulators? You have some cybersecurity responsibility in that regard. So you have this compliance, and then when are you going to do internal auditing? When are you going to expect external auditors? And then so these are some of the compliance area you need to get yourself acquainted with. And then you also want to have a look, request for their past audit or immediate past audit reports to know what findings are there. Because for every audit report, you have to get to see the findings, and then what are the status of these findings? Have they been closed? Are there ones that will require your immediate action? You require your immediate action or immediate input. So then if they have a risk register, if your role involves risk management or IT risk management, you need to have a review of their register to see, which risks, are open, critical risks, to see the risks that are overdue, risks that are open, and risks that are closed, and to also have an overview of the risk taxonomy of the company. So you say some of few of these things, you'll be able to satisfy um, any interviewer rather than saying that first few weeks is induction. No, in addition to induction, these are some of the things, because they want you to hit the ground running. They're not looking for somebody that's going to teach. They are looking for somebody that's coming to make an impact, to help them solve their problem. So let's look at questions relating to leadership, leadership requirement. Before you go for any interview, please make sure you check whether the role, irrespective of the title, irrespective of the job description, ensure that you know whether the role requires you to supervise somebody, or you don't have anybody to supervise. You only have a line manager. There's no downline, no direct report. It's important. It's important you have that, so because definitely they're going to be asking you question relating to how you manage. If the role requires you have direct report, you're going to be supervising somebody, they are going to test your leadership ability. And not just that, not just because they want to ask you about your leadership capability, it is important that, you also know how to respond to certain questions. I don't want you to I've made some mistakes, when I was interviewing. I didn't bother to check if the role requires direct report or not. So if the role requires direct report, and then it will be good to be talking about how you have managed people, how you have managed a team. You dwell much on that. If the role requires report, because they also want to see how you can manage others, then you dwell much on that, how you have managed a team, around that. But if the role does not have a direct report, that means what? So you're not going to be dwelling on how you manage the team. You're going to be dwelling more on how you can do the job by yourself, or how you have done the job. That's it. That means they want to see an aspect of you that has hands-on, hands-on experience, ability to do the job by yourself, rather than you just giving instruction to people, rather than telling people what to do, and you don't know how to do it, or you don't do it yourself. So if the job does not have direct report, don't be dwelling on how you manage people. Dwell on how you did it by yourself. They want to see that you did it by yourself. That's very important because I remember, you know, um, one of the interviews I've done in the past, I didn't check. So I was busy talking about, how I manage people, how I understand people, how I try to supervise people, how I check with them, how I do this, I did that. So at the end of the day, they told me that, well, we appreciate your management ability, but we are looking for somebody who can do the job by himself because this role does not require you managing anybody. So we can see that you are used to managing people. And from their own understanding, they felt that, okay, I don't have hands-on. That means I cannot do the job myself. I use people to do the job and they report to me. So make sure you don't make such mistakes. They want to see you saying, I did this, I write policy, I conduct risk assessment, I do internal auditing. It's not that you are getting somebody to do it. You're getting every people to do it and they now come to you with reports. No, they want hands-on. So that's why I said you must check whether the role has a direct report to know your pattern of a discussion, to know how to respond. Yes, so that's very important. And then if the role has a direct report, they will ask you, have you managed a team in the past? They can ask you, what is your leadership style? And how do you respond to that question? You say, yes, I've managed a team of 5 or a team of 3, and then my leadership style is an open leadership style. My doors are open. So I take my direct reports as colleagues. I see them as friends. So I run a kind of all-inclusive, you know, open door system, where everybody matters. So what I do most times is to understand my direct reports, know their area of strengths, know their area of weaknesses, and then I also know try to ascertain the gaps in their skills and their knowledge and experience, and then come up with maybe training needs, understand their training needs, and come up with proposal of how to give them training in the area that they lack experience or the area they have skill gaps. So also um, in giving them responsibilities, I try to make sure that I give responsibility based on competence, based on ability to execute. And also check with them when I give the responsibility. I open the line of communication with them to do daily stand-up with them to check how they progress on the job, if they have any blockers, if they have any issues, if they have any problem, if they need your help, they should let you know. So you make them feel comfortable, and you also try to add value, impact knowledge, and add value to them and make them become better leaders. So you can add your own, but that's about, and then so they will also can also ask you, how will you deal with a direct report, your downline that is not meeting expectations. There are some people that you work with, maybe, they don't, no matter how you try, they don't seem to be meeting expectations. So um in this case, you're not going to go straight and say, well, if somebody does not meet expectation, I'm going to deal or fire. No. So they want to see how you can manage different class of people, because not everybody in your team will meet expectations. So what you can say here is that, well, if somebody is not meeting expectation, you need to first of all establish why he's not meeting the expectation. Is he being given tasks, that are bigger than him? Is he being given responsibility that he cannot know? So you have to, come up with what are the challenges, have a discussion with him. What are his challenges? He might be having, some challenges outside the job that is even affecting the job. You need to understand him, why is he not performing, and then identify whether he needs more training, identify whether he needs to upskill the areas, the gaps that he has, and then be able to, to guide him and help him And then if there are reasons where it cannot, maybe it's possible it doesn't have the skill or the competence to do certain assignment, are you going to take away such assignment from him and give him what he can do, or you have to find a way of helping him to succeed on the job? Have a discussion with him. He can open up to you if you have any other challenge outside of work that's affecting him. And then if you've done all you can and it's still, because if you because even when you say all this, they were still going to ask you, now you have done all this and still not meeting the expectation, what are you going to do? So no matter how nice you are, you cannot continue to accommodate, pamper somebody forever. It will get to a time. So what you can say is that, well, I have done all I can. I've also involved others, maybe my line manager, and nothing seems to have worked or working. And then probably there will be consequences. Yeah, there should be consequences. It's possibly can redeploy, or it will show you the way out. That is it. There's no sentiment or emotion, because you need to be able to do your job, and you need people that will help you proceed if you're a manager managing people. So let's move on to the next question. Tell me about an improvement you have made and what was the outcome. So this, if you have any, talking about process improvement, how you have made things work better or faster, or how you have been able to probably meet deadlines better than it used to be, how you have been able to remove bottleneck, and then improve a process. So ideally, if you have a cybersecurity related example, use that, because they're interviewing you on cybersecurity on GRC. It will be better if you use a cybersecurity related example. If not, you can use other example, but I would advise to, even if you don't have one, look for one. Look for one story to tell about how you have improved a process, regarding cybersecurity. I will give you one or two examples. For example, I've used this example, how I improve the supplier due diligence process. Supplier due diligence is when you conduct, you assess risk, suppliers risk before they onboard suppliers, when you assess a risk they are going to bring. So how you are be able so in this particular scenario, I realized that we have a procurement policy in place, we have a supplier due diligence method, process, and policy in place, but it's not well implemented. I realized that everybody does procurement, in his or her own ways, outside what the policy says. There are some times when, even ideally, before a supplier is onboarded, we should do due diligence. Cybersecurity should be involved. Data protection should be involved. The legal team should be involved in the due diligence process to review their contract and also advise on the risk they are bringing. But you find out that in most cases, suppliers are onboarded without due diligence being done, even when the policy says due diligence should be done. So, and then even sometimes procurement people don't even know when suppliers are onboarded. But ideally, every supplier should come through the procurement system. So that is the gap you saw, and you decided to you had a meeting with all the stakeholders, the procurement team, the legal team, data protection team, the cybersecurity team. You summoned a meeting, and you discussed this, and then you provide a solution and told them that the system should be automated. Using any of these tools, could be Jira or any of these project management tool that the company has. So that the system should be automated. That the IT people got involved, and then the system was automated. And now, to the extent that there's a process, automated process, that you cannot move to the next stage without, satisfying the requirement of this stage. So it was automated. Then Once a supplier is coming in, everybody's alerted. Everybody follows the process. And then when it's a turn of cybersecurity to review, the cybersecurity will review. If they don't review, it will move to the next stage. The legal team will review. If they don't review the contract, it will move to the next stage. So this was automated, and everybody now follows the process. So that made because ideally they want to see the outcome. What outcome did you have? In other words, what was the result of your suggestion or your improvement suggestion? The outcome was that the procurement is now being done the way it should be done. Everybody now follows it. No process is being bypassed. No suppliers can be onboarded without the entire process, without going through the normal process and getting everybody involved. And everybody was happy with that. So that's what they want to hear. Another example could be um, how you improve, you improved how you respond to customers' requests. Normally as you do supplier due diligence, your customer also do due diligence on you. Your customer send you questionnaire. Maybe if you are bidding for a job, bidding for a contract, the customers will send you a questionnaire, and then in the you complete different customer questionnaire. For large companies, they can have as much as over 1,000 customers. So you keep filling questionnaire for hundreds of customers. It can be daunting, and it can be hectic. So how did you improve that process? So what I did was to come up with a template, a standard questionnaire that covers all the security domain. To have questions, over 400 questions. I developed over 400 questions that cover all the security domain. And we provided responses and answers to all those questions. So whenever a supplier whenever a supplier sends us questionnaire, what we do is to send our template to them. These are our security postures. And then rather than completing the supplier's questionnaire, for hundreds of the customer's questionnaire for hundreds of customers, the customers, once they see our template, they are normally satisfied, and we don't have to bother ourselves filling their questionnaire. Another thing we did was to kind of generate a link to that questionnaire, and then all we did to just give the customer access to please click on this link and review our own security posture. So when they check, they are satisfied and will progress. So we no longer fill too many customers questionnaire. So that is how now what was the outcome? The outcome was now that we don't spend so much time anymore filling too many customers questionnaire. That was the outcome. So you have been able to give, you don't need too many examples, just one will do. You can even think about your own, how you have improved a process, because they want somebody who can think outside the box and make it happen, work better and faster for them. So let's look at the next question. How have you been able to communicate technical terms to non-technical staff? So you have several examples, but the one that when you are giving an example, try to give an example of something you can explain comfortably. Because sometimes when you use an example, after you have given your example, they can ask you other questions. So normally I use example of firewall. Firewall. You know what firewall is. Firewall is it sits on internet gateways to 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 um to control what goes in and what goes out of the network. Control traffic flowing into the network and flowing outside the network. So when I tell people about firewall, especially non-technical people, they think it is about fire and war. But so I try to explain to them that firewall is like a gate man, in an event, a security man or a gate man in an event that that check guests check guests in and out of the event. So when they guess, for any guest that have the right IV, he allow that guest in. So if you don't have the right IV, you are bounced back, you are turned back. So that's exactly what so I use Gateman, to be able to explain what a firewall does on a network. And then you can use like another one. Just not like I said, one example is enough. So you can use like local area network or wide area network. If I want to explain like a local area network to a layman, I tell somebody, do you have a Wi-Fi at home? He said yes. And you have devices connected to your Wi-Fi. You have laptop connected. You have your TV connected. Yeah, you have your phones connected. So that is your own local area network. That is a local area network where system connected can be under a roof, under a building, or in an office. So that is your own local area network. So, and then wide area network have to deal with when your own local network is going to connect. So if you are sending printing, you are printing if you are printing something from the computer, from your laptop, that is your own local, you are connected locally. But if you want to now connect to an outside, for example, you want to log into your another network or your banking app, for example, you want to use your internet at home to log into your banking app. So you are now going from local to a wider network. So you are now your local network is now connecting to the bank's own local network. So it becomes a wide area network. So that's how I try to explain, using so you can, but one example, like I said, is enough. So let's look at the next question. How have you been able to infuse security culture and behaviors in employees? Talk about employees. Ideally, what I could normally say, I say employees, are the weakest link, and then ordinarily, employees don't want anything cybersecurity. If they have a way of resisting it, they will do. They just want to have the freedom to do whatever they like on the network, visit any site. So employees are not always, sometimes most times they are not always cooperating in abiding to security related laws or rules or advice. So how have you been able to infuse this culture? So normally I work with leadership, that to ensure that leadership lead by example. Whatever rule, whatever rule we come up with regarding security, leadership to abide by them as well, because your staff are watching you. If we say clean desk, wear your tag, leadership will also abide by it. And also, so leadership to demonstrate and show that yes, they are keen about security. They don't take they, they take security seriously. And when the staff know that the leadership takes security seriously, they don't have a choice than to follow suit. And also, we also encourage leadership to also include and have on your in every meeting you are going to have leadership come up with them quarterly briefing, periodic briefing, annual briefing. They should have a security. They should have security as part of the agenda. So every time they want to communicate to staff on any area, even if not just about profitability or achievement or goals, they should also include security. So when staff consistently hear from leadership about security, they will always abide by security rules. Let it not be like anytime staff hear about security, it's only from the cybersecurity team they hear about security. They should hear about cybersecurity from leadership as well regularly. And then another way we achieve this is constant training. We ensure that people they complete their annual training, their regular training. We come up with different training on different topics. Can be on phishing mail, business email compromise, how to have a security, how to recognize phishing attempt, how to recognize some attack, we create awareness regularly. Don't do this, don't click that link. So we come up with awareness, send mails at them, awareness using posters. sensitize people regularly, because let it be on, let it be in their mind. Let it just be like let it just be like a habit. Try to make it a habit. Whatever they are doing, think security. Whatever you want to do, think security. Is it right? So and then we communicate, establish communication, emails, posters, kind of banners, come up with all this to make sure that on a weekly basis, there's something we also want to talk about security. There's something to talk about regarding security. And then we also let them realize that security is not only the responsibility of the IT team or cybersecurity team. We also let them know how attackers have been able to penetrate or successfully attack companies using employees. We let them know the tactics, the means, attack vectors that the attackers use, using, going through employees, sending emails. So also let them know that you and I are responsible, not the leadership alone. So that responsibility, we make them take responsibilities for security. So I think that will, and then we also update them of the current threats. Where there are threats, there are current threats, all over the world, also threats and breaches, we also update them, like the latest attack, this is the latest threat, this is the latest breach. This is what happened. Please make sure you don't do this, don't click that. So let them know, and how the threat have affected, how the breaches have affected companies, how companies have lost businesses, how employees have been sacked because companies were breached and are totally attacked. That attack came through the mistake or error of an employee. So we give them this consciousness. We make them know, and let them know that these are some of the things that can cause problem. And so that is all about that. So let's look at the next question. So the next question is, tell me how you keep up to date with security threats and latest security information. Because as a cybersecurity professional, you expect that you are, you know, in tune with current happenings. Yes, that is one of the attributes of a cybersecurity person. You are in tune with current trends, current happenings, current breaches. Yes, very important. And then you should be able to respond to this. It's simple. And then what you're going to say, like, I belong to different security peer groups, we share ideas, we share information, we belong with great, we have different WhatsApp groups for sharing intelligence, sharing ideas, sharing information, and also we're registered with different security intelligence companies, and they send you daily emails, get daily email, daily alert on current trend, current breaches, current threat vectors, current disaster that has happened all over the world. You get daily email, and then also uh, you also monitor breaches around the world, because when there are breaches, these same companies, they send email. You get news from, it can be from BBC, from the internet, so you get information about breaches. Once a breach happens, you get to know. So what you do about breaches is that you normally read about you know what caused the breach, what the company did, how the breach happened, how the attack happened, why it was successful. So you also kind of come up with kind of a lessons learned from every breach that you learn about. You come up with a lessons learned and try to relate that to your company. That if this breach or if this attack has happened to my company, will it have been successful? Do we have necessary control in place to avoid, to be able to to be able to escape this attack if it was targeted at us, and then from there you'll be able to take some corrective action and then quick processes. So that is how you monitor breaches around the world. I'm sure every interviewer should be happy with that, but they want you to be, to be current, very current, up to date with information. And so let's look at the next question. What has been your key strengths, key weaknesses? Ideally, this one might not provide the kind of answers. Everybody has his own strength and weaknesses, but you can just expect question in this area, come up with your own strength. And then they want some of honesty. For me, ability to get result, ability to be able to influence positive outcomes. Sometimes I look at the job description, there are some desired qualities or required qualities that you should have. Sometimes I try to tailor my strength. I try to give responses about my strength based on the required quality of the job, required attribute or required skill for the job. So you can come up with your own, but especially the person must be able to, the person should have this. I try to draw my strength from there just to satisfy the examiner. And then you can come up with your own, but just be, and then I can come up with a weakness. I can't say, sometimes I'll say, well, I can't think of, but I know I used to be very impatient with people, impatient, but now at least, but over time, I'm able to develop myself, and no, I'm no longer impatient. I have time to, to accommodate different people, and so I don't know if that's a weakness or a trend, but then you must just come up with something that be honest about it, so, and then, but you will be able to work on that. If you come up with a weakness, tell them how you have been able to deal with that weakness. So that means it's no longer a weakness, but then it used to be. So you can come up with your own, but expect something is very important, because your key strength will be all about the role, how your strength, how your weakness, how your strength, will positively affect or help you to succeed on that role. So look at the required attribute of the role, required skill, required, what they need, what you need to have, the need to have, and the need to know on that job. That's why I said be very, very conversant with the job description. So another important thing they were going to, I might ask you that, what are your career goals? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So ideally, they sometimes some employers are trying to look at, is this person, if we hire this person, is this somebody we're going to hire for a long time or for a short term? Because what should be an employer business with your goals, your personal goals? They want to see if your goals is just all about you, or if your goals will align, will work for them, it's something they can, they can benefit from in the future. So even when I have my personal goals of what I want to become, whatever, I don't say that to employers or to interviewers. I try to make my goal look like it's all about the company, because that's what most interviewers want to hear. If your goal is how you want to travel around the world, how you want to become an entrepreneur, how you want to become self-employed, how you want to become a philanthropist, how you want to become whatever you want to, because it's personal to use, keep it. Make your goal to align with the company. So normally what I'll do to, I'll keep improving myself, because the reason is that if you begin to tell employers how you want to become, that means your ambition is to, you're not going to stay with them for a long time. probably they're looking for somebody that they will stay with them, plan with them for the nearest future. Even when you don't have plan to stay on the job, don't reveal it at that moment, because that will can yank you off. So I'll keep improving myself, developing myself to be more useful to my organization now and in future, and to be prepared, for future opportunities in the organization. So I prove myself, develop myself or skill, try to learn, and try to make sure that I keep myself up to date, and so that I can be relevant in the organization, be prepared for opportunities when opportunities, for future development. When opportunities comes in the future, I'll be available and prepared for that. So, and also, I usually align myself. That should be, this should be the first one you say. I usually would like to align myself with the company's present and future goals in order to remain relevant to the company's future goals and objectives. To align my goals with the company goals, I want to be prepared and train myself, develop myself, to be able to take advantage of future opportunities that the company might present, to align myself with the company goals. So in other words, wherever the company is going, that is where I want to go. So company have goals, they have objectives. So wherever the goal of the company is going, that is where you're going to prepare yourself. Make sure you align yourself with the goals. And wherever the company is going, that is where I would like to go. That is what any employer wants to hear. It means that, yes, you are a candidate for the future. You're not the one that will come and stay 1 month or 2 months and you run away. So, um, so basically, that is all we have for this particular video. And then these are our contact details. If you have any question, drop your question in the comment box. If you want to contact us for for your training or mentoring, this also please don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel, share this video, like this video, and then we see you in the next video. Thank you very much for taking time, and I hope you succeed in your job hunt and job pursuit. Thank you very much.